my name is Katie. I just adopted an older cat from a shelter local to me. This is him. His name is Milo. He is sleeping right now. And this shelter I want to talk about because I had a very unfortunate experience with this shelter that I was not expecting. I have adopted 3 other cats from the shelter in the past who have all been in perfect health. Granted, they were younger cats, but I have had absolutely no issues, and I've never heard of any issues with this shelter until I adopted Milo. I decided to adopt Milo a few days ago. This is my other cat. I had been eyeing him on the website for about a week or so, and I talked to my boyfriend and we decided to go ahead and adopt him because he is an older cat who is needing a home, and I really love older cats. And so we decided to go in and look at him. So we got in there and we found him after looking around for a minute, and he's a very sweet cat. And so they got him out of the cage that he was in for us to be able to pet him, and they brought him over to this couch where we can pet him and get to know him before we decided to adopt him for sure. And immediately we noticed that he had some crust around his eyes and his nose, and he was drooling quite a bit, and there was matted drool on his chin, and he was actively drooling as we were petting him. And so I had asked about it because I was concerned, and they told me that he was only drooling because he was happy, which I believed because this sweet boy right here, he drools when he's happy. But it's never been to the extent that Milo was drooling whenever we adopted him. And they told me that the crust on his eyes and nose was because he had a respiratory infection that was ongoing, and that he was okay and he was ready to be adopted. So we went ahead and adopted him for $40 from this shelter, and we brought him home. And he's been a really, really great cat. There's absolutely, he is a perfect cat. I went ahead and made Milo a vet appointment for, it was 2 days after I adopted him. I made him a same day appointment because he was still looking very crusty and he was drooling a lot and he needed to go to the vet. And so I made him an appointment and I brought him there. And upon seeing the vet, they were very concerned, and they said that he has very severe dental disease, and a lot of his teeth, when they showed me, were very green and gray, and they told me that it had been there for quite a while, and there was no way that this disease just happened. He also had ear mites, and he got his ears cleaned and taken care of, and he was given all of his shots that he was missing and given medicine for the ear mites. And they told me that he is definitely going to need an extraction and lots of dental work. And they quoted me starting at $600 for his dental work. The vet instructed me to call the shelter because he did not believe that the shelter did not have any knowledge of Milo's dental disease because it was very obvious from the drooling and the foul odor from the drool that he was experiencing. I am a very non-confrontational person, so I had my mom help me call the shelter, and we did. And they answered on about the 4th phone call, which is okay. I know they're busy. It took about 4 phone calls before they answered, and we got maybe the receptionist, and we asked if we could speak to the manager or the director or anyone, and she said that the director was out of the building and that the manager was probably on lunch. So she suggested that we talk to the lead cat tech. So my mom insisted that we talk to the manager, and so we were put on hold. They came back and they told us that the manager was in fact gone, but they could take a message. So we decided to go ahead and speak to the lead cat tech. Once we got to speak to the cat tech, we told her about Milo's condition, and she told us that because I signed a contract when I adopted him, that I was taking on any cost that Milo was going to need. I told her I was prepared for that because I have adopted cats before, but this was something I hadn't expected or even experienced from adopting other animals. I told her what the vet had told me, and she said that their own vet there had checked out Milo and that they never found any evidence of dental disease. Then she told me that he has already had teeth pulled before, and that was the only thing that they knew about him. But they didn't even tell me that whenever I adopted him, and it's not in his medical file that they gave me. So then she said that they never had any reason to believe he had dental disease because he never showed any signs of it. Like, he was eating fine and drinking fine, he acted completely normal, and he was not drooling. So I stopped her there and I told her he was in fact drooling, and they knew that he was drooling because I asked about it and they told me it was normal. So she backtracked and said that he did drool, but it was because he was a happy cat. She then told us that she was unable to help us and they were not going to give me a refund for his adoption fee, and that they were not going to be able to help pay for his extractions. And the only way they would be able to help him is if I returned him to the shelter and they would get the help that he needed. Me and my mom were skeptical because he had already been in the shelter since April. It is June, and they'd never noticed it before. So we told them that we were concerned that if we did end up returning him, that he would not get the help that he needed. And she told us that she would be able to get him the help that he needed, and they would scrape together the funds to do it or give him to a new home. We ended the phone call there, and I decided to make a Google review, which is not something I have ever done before. This is the Google review that I left, and I'm going to read it right now. I recently adopted an older cat from the shelter. When I finally got to meet him, he appeared with crust around his eyes and nose, along with a lot of drool on his chin. I asked about it, and they told me he had a chronic respiratory infection and that he only drooled when he was happy. I believe this because I have a cat that drools when he's happy. However, this was a lot of drool that also smelled foul. I adopted him anyway. I took him to the vet shortly after. The vet immediately was concerned with his condition. He has severe dental disease and ear mites, not a chronic respiratory infection. The vet informed me that he had been sick for a while and the shelter should have noticed his condition and not have let me adopt him in that state. The vet also told me to call the shelter to inform them of this issue and ask for help paying for his extractions. When I eventually, after several unanswered phone calls, was able to get a hold of them to discuss the issue, they were not very concerned. We talked to the lead cat tech due to the managers being unavailable at that time. We told her the situation and she was fairly polite but not seem to be interested in our phone call. She told us that they would not be helping and that their vet had cleared him and hadn't found evidence of dental decay and infections at all. I would really like to believe the staff that they hadn't known about this, but the vet I'd taken my cat to was very sure that they had to have known, and that it was very obvious to anyone who was familiar with the cat. One of the staff members, when I adopted him, said he was even her favorite. This is a very unfortunate situation. I've adopted several cats from here, and I have never had such a bad experience. I was really looking forward to adopting this older cat, but now I have a very expensive bill to pay without any concern, sympathy, or help from the staff. I would like to warn others about adopting from this shelter because of my experience here. I hope things improve and they do not let other cats or dogs stay sick and in pain like they did for this poor kitty, just to pass off the vet bill to someone unsuspecting. They did let me know I could just return him if I couldn't cover the cost. I fear they would euthanize him rather than give him the help that he needs, and that I will be providing for him, no thanks to this shelter. Now, I know that I did not need to add in that last part, but I was really upset after that phone call. And this is the response that I got from the shelter. We are sorry to see your 1-star review and negative experience as you describe it. Our staff works hard to be transparent about all animals to all adopters. Milo was loved at the shelter and staff worried about him drooling in his neutering. The drool became a cute trademark, endearing him to us more. Since no foul odor was detected and the vet performing his neuter cleared him, we did not realize a dental was needed. We do not pass off vet bills and do everything in our nonprofit power to get animals the help they need. We do not let animals in pain remain that way. We are a no-kill shelter, so Milo would not be euthanized if we return him. We would find him a loving home, hopefully quickly, with someone who would get him his dental without bashing our shelter. If he is not adopted quickly, we would scrape up donations and funds to get him the help he needs. I hope you will consider returning him to the shelter and possibly deleting your unfavorable review that only hurts other cats and dogs in need. Hopefully the 5-star reviews praising staff will let people see the true nature of our shelter. I found their response to be very unprofessional and rude, and I'm out of time, But that is my experience with this shelter.